In the studio with me, Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus, the Minimalists. The website, theminimalists.com. The book, Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life. Joshua, Ryan, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Tom.
Great to have you guys here with us. So, let me start with you, Joshua. What is minimalism? How did you guys come to this?
I spent most of my 20s searching for happiness, searching for something to be happy with and happy about. And I did everything that I was supposed to do in order to be happy. I got the really great job, I climbed the corporate ladder, and I started accumulating all the things that were supposed to make me happy. And as I accumulated all of that stuff, it was doing actually the opposite of making me happy. Instead of happiness, I found debt and stress and anxiety and discontent. And ultimately, by my late 20s, I was standing somewhere where everyone told me I was successful, but I didn't feel successful. In fact, I felt unsatisfied with life. And then my mother died and my marriage ended in a very short time. And I started questioning sort of everything in my life. And then I discovered this thing called minimalism, and a whole group of people that said that they were living a more meaningful life, or a life that was filled with purpose, because they were able to shed their excess possessions and focus on the things that were important in their life.
It's remarkable. Ryan, 20, 30 years ago, this was called voluntary simplicity. Henry David Thoreau referred to it as living a meaningful life. You could go all the way back. I mean, the Spartans, it was the Spartan ethos. I mean, many of them didn't wear clothes.
Yeah.
3,000 years ago, the Greeks. I mean, how is modern minimalism different from these periodic eruptions throughout history of people basically saying, enough with the consumer society already?
Yeah, I think minimalism can definitely mean different things, and it definitely has throughout history. I think today minimalism really speaks directly to living deliberately and really questioning the things that we bring into our lives, because we're in this culture right now that tells us to buy everything that we see. That's what's going to make us happy. And kind of like, Josh, I had the same thing where I had everything that I wanted, and those things that I had, like if you were to tell me at age 18 what I was going to have at age 28, I would have been really excited at age 18. Like, I can't wait to have all those things. And once I had all those things, it really didn't bring happiness. You know that saying we grew up with, money doesn't buy happiness? It really rang true to me at age 28. And, for me, minimalism, again, is about living more deliberately and not just going out and mass consuming as much as possible.
Buddhism, Buddha's Four Noble Truths. All life is suffering. The cause of suffering is attachment. If you get rid of attachment, you end suffering. And then the Eightfold Path to get rid of suffering or get rid of attachment. And part of that is basically not being attached to material goods. 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Is there an ideology or a doctrine or a structure associated, I'd put this to either of you, with minimalism, like there is with Buddhism, for example?
It's funny, we've been going on tour having a bunch of different meetups, and a lot of people will come up to us and say, you're obviously Buddhists, or you're obviously Christians, or you're...
the Christians,
right,
they all threw it into the common purse,
right.
the guys with Jesus. I mean,
sure.
They kind of changed after Paul, but...
I think there are bits and pieces of any philosophy or religion, Stoicism, wherever you want to go. We tend to take a more practical approach today as it applies to I think the spirituality piece is a nice benefit, but what we look at is sort of the surface level things that are in our life, and try to find a way to apply that to our life.
For example?
You look at all of the superfluous things that I used to own. I used to have a basement full of things. I would hold on to so many things just in case. Those three words come up a lot. You've got a junk drawer full of things just in case. All of the extra clothes that you have just in case you're going to need them. And I think we hold on to things not because of the meaning that they really have, but because of some sort of meaning we give them in a distant, hypothetical future.
Ryan, is this a variation on the self-help advice of anything you haven't touched in a year you should throw away?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have I've amended that rule. Now it's 6 months for me. With the exception of some seasonal items, because we do live in Montana and it gets pretty cold out there. But
wouldn't want to throw out the winter clothes come July.
right. Yeah, that would be a bad.
December will come.
Yeah, there are certainly things that you need to hold on to.
And to that point, how do you plan for things like old age? The December of your life will come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's very important too. No, we absolutely, I have a Roth IRA that I put into. I mean, it's not that we live different than anybody else as far as planning for the future or having insurance or planning, having a savings account. It's about again living more deliberately and deciding, what things am I going to bring into my life and what is actually going to add value to my life. And I would say a Roth IRA is absolutely something that would add value to my life.
And yet, if you are obsessed with it, if you're attached to it, if you think about it constantly, if you check it every twice a day to see if the stock market has gone up or down, that's that point of attachment where it all falls apart, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could definitely give things like that too much meaning and let it control our lives, and that is what I did with my things. Is I gave my things so much meaning. I had my identity wrapped up in the things that I owned. It was look at my car, look at my house, look at all the things that I have. I mean, I had my identity attached to that, and that could be a very a dangerous thing, I guess.
Yeah, well, and Joshua, many people in America would identify themselves the way that Ryan just said. Basically, I am my stuff.
Sure.
Others more frequently. I mean, the question that you encounter at a cocktail party or a reception or meeting where you're running into strangers is, what do you do?
Right.
In other words, you are your job. Who are you? How do you what's the appropriate question? What's the appropriate answer?
Sure. In fact, when people ask all the time, what was the hardest thing for you to get rid of when we're out on the road? And, they're expecting me to say like my TV or my favorite pair of shoes or something. But really the hardest thing for me to get rid of was my identity. And I had to change that question in particular. I had to take that question, what do you do? Because I don't think there's any malice in that question when someone asks it. But I do think it's a pernicious question. I think that question is so expansive because I do a lot of things. I drink water, I walk, but really what we're saying is, what do you do for a living? And then based upon what your answer is, I'll judge you from what you tell me.
Well, there's something implicit in there about where do you stand in the social hierarchy.
Sure. Without a doubt. And I found what I was able to do was sort of flip that question on its head, and I would answer with what I was passionate about. I call it turning a noun into a verb. And so instead of saying, here's my job title, let's both talk about something we're not that passionate about for a while, I would say, I'm passionate about writing. I've actually written literary fiction for a long time. And so even before I had anything published, I would tell people I am really passionate about writing fiction. Can you tell me what you're passionate about now? And usually when you change that question, it completely changes the direction of that conversation.
Yeah, totally changes the frame. Ryan, what are you passionate about?
Me personally, I'm passionate about the movement that we have going on right now and the message that we're spreading. We are able to actually add a lot of value to other people's lives, and for me, that's what I'm passionate about right now. And it's a funny thing about passion, right? You can be passionate about one thing one day and not be passionate about it the next day. So I'm totally open to change with my passion, but right now it's about just helping others with their situation. As
we go through our lives, our passions change. As a guy who's a lot older than you guys, I can tell you for sure that's the case. The book is Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life. We're talking with the authors, the Minimalists, Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus. The website, theminimalists.com. You guys put a lot of work into this blog. There's a lot of great information there. Thanks so much for dropping by today and for sharing your passion with us and our listeners and our viewers.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
much
Tom.
appreciated, guys.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back. And once again, check out their website, The Minimalists, Minimalists.com. Plural. The Minimalists. There's two of you.
Yeah.
Of course, the Minimalists. We'll be right back.